And hello, 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 hello. Oh, I do that to be silly and everything to wake myself up. How about that? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and everything else in between. Hello to all of you who are coming in, listening, and all of that. I haven't been with you in a little piece of a minute. However, I want to come to you real quickly because, darlings, honey, I got a few things that I need to say and introduce you to, and all of those kinds of calamities and shenanigans and things of that nature. So, welcome to another installment, edition, and things of the Donut Factory Chronicles and Commentaries, darling. Hello, thank you all for coming in. I see y'all are coming up in here like gangbusters. Hey, now. What's doing it, honey? What's doing it? Okay. Hey, babies. Hello. I'm going to acknowledge all of you in a few moments. Y'all know how I do. But y'all are coming up in here rather cutely. And that's wonderful. Thank you for your time. I'm going to say this now because I don't like when folks keep doing it throughout their videos or whatever. So I'm going to say it now, and then you guys know what to do afterwards. Hey, please like, subscribe, share, and all this kind of stuff. And all of that. Share this with folks who you think can benefit from it and things of that nature, so that we could keep the discussion going, honey. I encourage you to go to my website. Please go to my website and get my numbers up for me. My website is www.dishingtea.com. www.dishingtea.com. So, I have a few things I'm going to be talking with you about today. It's all in the same category, actually, because, darlings, I have not been able to give my opinion about a couple of things, and I just came across something that had disturbed me, and all of that. So, first off, let me say this. This coming Friday, not March, this is May 3rd, 2019, I am going to be on Blog Talk Radio. It's not my show. It won't be Dishing Tea with Big Meach. I will be a guest speaking with Judge Joe Brown. Now, y'all know I had an issue with him before. And we talked about that right here on the Donut Factory Chronicles and Commentaries. And I didn't speak to, he was on the line when I called into the show. And I told him, I said, honey, you said some shit and I didn't like it. Okay? And your perspective is one thing, but one of the things that we do know is that language is something that how we word and how we phrase things is always something. And so I was told that he wanted to talk to me. So this coming Friday, I will be on with him. Now, I got to get the telephone number. Hold on. Because I just put it up on my wall. If y'all go to my wall, y'all will see that I'm going to, y'all will see the thing that I'm going to put up, okay? So hold on, because I'm going here on the computer to find it. So I'll give y'all the information right now, and we're going to call that Grace. I hear T.S. Madison in my head. Google it, get it right now, honey. Wait a minute, hold on. Yeah, it is called Into the Judge's Chambers. And, hosted by Valerie Denise Jones. Yeah. So the telephone number to call is going to be 929-427-1167. 929-427-1167. Now, again, that's going to be this coming Friday, May 3rd, at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's 4 Eastern, 3 Central, 2 Mountain, 1 Pacific. Okay? We're going to be on with Judge Joe Brown. And this is going to be a deliciously hot cup of tea that we're going to be dishing in the judge's chambers. You understand? So if you guys, I'm going to be reminding you so that you can join me there and et cetera, et cetera. Also, yeah, that's it. Thank you, baby. Thank you, Kenya. 929-427-1167. And it's called Enter the Judge's Chambers, hosted by Valerie Denise Jones. And this is going to be on Blog Talk Radio. She doesn't have a link up there to where if you want to listen by computer. But, yeah, okay? So, also, stay tuned, because I also will be here locally in Atlanta. I'll be on the air talking politics with Victor Armendariz. He was once running for senator, U.S. senator here in Atlanta. He's a Republican and conservative. And this is going to be very interesting because he wants me to come on and co-host his show with him. So, darlings, we're about to do this thing. You understand? We are about to do this thing. And that's going to be fun, too. So I'm going to keep you guys abreast of that as well. So, let's get into this while I got a moment. Because y'all know I'm at the donut factory. So y'all going to hear some noises and things. Y'all going to see me typing. And I got to... Wait a minute. Let me start doing it now. And see me typing and shit so that I can get some things done. And all of that. Okay? Wait a minute. We can save this. Because I got to work. So having said all that, let's get into this thing here, okay? Now, there's a number of things that's going on with our transgender community, and wow. You know, there's some things here that really got to get going. First off, let me address, before we get into the transgender community, I want to address the sadness that we have with losing John Singleton. For those of you, you know, we've all been in love with his movies and carrying on. I never met him personally. I've been one who was just touched by his movies and his direction and things, and being a person of film and acting and all of that, and in the entertainment industry, you know, this is a hard loss. And I thought he was pulling out of that stroke that he had. I didn't know that he was on life support and this, that, and the other. So we want to extend our condolences and our well wishes to the family, and we hold them up in strength and wisdom, and all of those things. So, darlings, yeah, let's hold him up. Kenya, okay, girl, she said she got to go make her donuts. Okay, go make yours, baby. Catch this in the archives. Thank you for coming in, sugar. Okay, Leo, you say what is going to be an hour packed full of tea and misogyny. How about that? With Judge Joe Brown. That's going to be interesting. But here we are with our with the news that's plaguing us, because as I titled today's commentaries, baby, they are coming for the T children hard. Real hard. And y'all know I am a transgender advocate, and though I am not part of the trans community, because I am not transgender by its formal definition, by its loose definition, I am, as an entertainer who has done drag and this, that, and the other, and all of that. Go to my Samantha Stevens Divinity page if you want to see pictures of me all dolled up and all of that. But loosely, because of as an entertainer and as a gender illusionist, I'm in that category. But I do not live my life, and I do not want to go through the changes of being, you know, and saying that I'm not in the right body and all of that. That's not my journey. However, our trans brothers and sisters, honey, are going through. They're coming for them hard. And the first thing that I want to make sure that we are on the forefront about is, I talked about this before, and that's the ban on trans children to serve in the military. They passed that, and I'm hateful that they passed that. A lot of this has to do with money. A lot of this has to do with the federal government claiming they don't want to pay for a lot of the sexual reassignment surgeries, because there's a lot of soldiers who have done their time, they got their benefits or whatever, and so they decided to go and have sexual reassignment surgeries, and the government is claiming they don't want to pay for it and this, that, and the other, and it's becoming a whole big to-do. Now, my whole stance is this. If this is the insurance that you say that they have, and they got full coverage of whatever it is that they've done, and they've earned it, then damn it, who are you to tell them not to use their damn insurance? However, if you say you don't want to pay for it, then do like every other insurance does. Every other insurance sit down there and they have stipulations and carrying on what they pay for, what they're not going to pay for, what you got to come out of pocket for, and all of those kinds of shenanigans. So if that's the case, then you need to rework your insurance plan of what you're going to cover, whatever. But you can't tell these folks that they can't serve, and you can't tell these folks that they cannot be of use to their country. How dare you? I think that's unconstitutional, but I don't know. I got to look at that and see what that is. But how dare you? Especially for those who are volunteering. We don't have a draft anymore, so these folks are coming to serve their country on their own, on their own fruition. And the recognizances and carrying on. So, darlings, this here is unheard of. This is unfucking heard of that we're going to allow this to happen. Also, we have this thing here where there was a trans woman in Dallas who was severely beaten. I just watched this video, and the video is not that long, and I just read the story that this damn boy, this is a big old boy, he looked like he was on a mission. Hold on.
1027, walk through the back of the house. All security cleared this time.
Copy that. That boy was on a mission, okay? He was whooping that girl's ass, honey, like she was the baby mama, honey, and he couldn't see his kids, okay? And I'm having a problem with that because after reading the story, it is said that somebody in that damn crowd paid him $200 to assault that girl. So my whole thing is whoever gave the coin, they need to go down too. There was only one arrest in this story, but when you see the video, there's a couple of people who got to kicking and carrying on when the girl was on the ground, and et cetera, et cetera. So see, we have heinous crimes going on across this country with our trans community, and because these are trans women, male to female, transitioning, a lot of folks, they in this whole little thing where, hell, you was born a man, and, they get into that whole bullshit of what this is supposed to be. Now, we could sit down there, and I could say this too, sometimes, honey, when it comes to your life, honey, there's a number of girls I know that feel as though that because they are a woman that they don't fight back because they feel as though that's being too masculine and they're trying to be women. And I'm like, bitch, this is your life. Honey, you don't let nobody hurt you. You don't let nobody try to take you the fuck up out of here. You understand? Now, looking at this thing, honey, this here I don't think this is one of those kinds of cases. But oftentimes, there's a number of things that go with transgender issues and things. And when we talk about violence against the trans community. And I'm having a real hard time with this because the idea that they paid that boy to do this, and now he's finna ready to go to jail over $200. $200 fucking dollars. Okay? That's my alarm, one of them. So I'm having a real serious problem with that. Okay? Now, here's another thing that has come up, and it's a victory, but at the same time, the scrutiny that I'm hearing from it is what I'm taken aback by. Morehouse College has now decided that they're going to allow trans men to enroll into the school. Now, for those of you, just so I can keep the language together so you understand what I'm talking about, a trans man is just that. This is a person who was at birth born female, but is transitioning to live their life as male. Okay? So a trans man, they are allowing trans men to enroll and become students of Morehouse College. Trans women are not eligible anymore to be students of Morehouse because they are deciding to transition and live their lives as women. So they are no longer they cannot be a part of an all-male institution. Okay? Now, It seems a little confusing for those who, get mind-boggled about it. But for those, the way I've just explained it, if you understand it, you got it. It's just that simple. Morehouse College is an all-male academy, and they want boys, okay? And so now what they are doing is opening up the playing field because we have trans men and carrying on. So they're opening that up so that trans men can have an opportunity of coming to the school. The problem that I'm having is that the pundits out there, the naysayers and stuff, and the power to the people children are now saying that all of this is, they want to attribute this to where, oh my God, here we go. You telling us what being a man is, and this is an institution that has been training men to be men, and now you're saying that, you're coming into this whole thing of telling folks what manhood is, and you're redefining manhood and masculinity, So we're on this kick again about trying to save masculinity, preserve masculinity, and all of that. And I'm having a real bad problem with this because here's something to consider, and I'm going to say this to the judge too, because it is my belief that everything that we claim that's supposed to be man and masculine and carrying on, everything that we have allowed society to dictate to us what is masculine behavior, particularly as black men, we have allowed what we have learned through slavery and stuff, and what has been passed down to us, to become the ideal characteristics of what a man is supposed to be, particularly when we're talking about a strong black man and how he keeps his family and what a black man does and this, that, and the other. But all of that kind of stuff was forged because we had to identify ourselves in a country that didn't know us. None of us know what the African customs are, because none of us came. We're here. What we know is America. What we know is this country. We don't know the mother and the father countries and carrying on. We don't know what that is. We don't know what those rituals were and what being a man is over there. We know from what the new African Americans, when they come over, we see what they are about or whatever, but we have not studied them and carrying on. You know what I'm saying? So our ideas of what masculine behavior is supposed to be, it stems from what we've learned and what we have adopted as part of our behavior modification needs and stuff through slavery. So here we have the power to the people children and those who who want to sit up there and claim that the black man is under attack. Now you're trying to sit up there and say that this particular ideal of them opening up, Morehouse opening up the school to trans men, is a threat to the black experience and to the black existence. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, how is that a threat? Because I get so tired of hearing what threats are to the black existence and to the black community and how our black men are this, that, and the other, when you're sitting down here and you do not address the black men who are sitting up here spreading themselves thin, and they have all of these goddamn kids. You got 17 baby mamas and you got 32 kids. Huh? What is that saying about a black man? How is the family structure and the dynamics of the family being established when he's spreading himself thin? That there is slave mentality, because the black man was always sold off. So what did he do? He laid a dick right at things because he don't know when he gonna see his woman again or whatever. And so when he gets sold off, he meet a new woman and have kids by another woman. See, that there is residual effect as I see it. And yet we don't sit up there and chastise that. We don't talk about that. We talk about all these other external stuff that have nothing to do with black men and have nothing to do with the character of a black man. But you're making it so because you want to say that systemic white superiority, white supremacy, and race and systemic racism and stuff is trying to neutralize the black man and neutralize masculinity and neutralize this because we have toxic masculinity running around and this, that, and the other. And I say bullshit to it. I say bullshit to it. I'm not having that as an excuse. And so now we are up against an institution that is willing to open up its doors and celebrate diversity and those kinds of things by allowing trans men to come in. Now, here's the conundrum. Because personally, I too believe that as these things are being opened to us, just like the civil rights movement and we were trying to get integration and carrying on, I also believe that we need to create our own schools. I believe that there needs to be a school for transgender. Just like all these historically black colleges. Well, how come we have not formed a referendum that we have historically gay colleges since this is becoming a problem? Okay, now we see we need to have a curriculum to where trans folks can feel comfortable in the school and create our own out of necessity. You see? How we can build strong soldiers and that kind of thing. Because I heard this one girl, what's her name, Vicky Dillard? I believe she's on YouTube or whatever, and I come across her page. And this is where she was upsetting me because I'm like, okay. And what gets me is that they always say, well, this is not, I'm not trying to preach hatred against the LGBT community. That's not what this is. But yet everything that came out of her mouth was about the disgust of it. So you may not preach hate about it, but now you're disgusted by it and feel as though this has become an agenda against black people and this, that, and the other. And I'm trying to find out how, because see, predominantly Morehouse is a black college. It's a black college. So more than likely, there's going to be predominantly black trans men going to the school. Okay. So now, and then she kept saying that we have no corroborative evidence that this person is male, other than the fact that this person feels like they are man, and they said that they are man. So because you feel this way, you have no corroborating evidence below the neck that says that you are. And I wrote in her comments, I said, girl, what you're talking about is because they ain't got no penis that you're having a problem with that. And that's fine to have a problem with. You could disagree with it. I'm not saying not to disagree with it, because there's a lot of folks that don't get it. There's folks in the LGBT community that don't get it or understand it. That's cool. That's not your journey. It's not your plight. You're not going to understand that because it's not your plight to get. Okay. However, to be open to it and to say that it exists is one thing, and to say you are willing to take some time to at least educate yourself. Now, I'm not saying go become best friends with them or whatever, but if you find you come across someone who is trans or whatever, you have questions, that's the time to ask sincerely and don't be derogatory. And then, we can have this, that, and the other for the dialogue to happen so we can learn culture. That's how we do. What did you do when you learn Spanish, folks, or whatever? What does this mean when you do that? When you come across folks who are different and it intrigues you, whether it intrigues you because you don't understand it or it tickled your fancy, you had questions and you brought that about. So that there kind of ticked me off a bit. I was like, okay, bitch, you got one more time to sit down here and talk about, oh, well, you have no corroborating evidence. Because she kept saying that, okay, so because you were not born male, but because you feel like a man, you could come to the school. But for those who are born male and want to live as women, you can't be there. And that confused her. She was baffled by that. Okay. And I'm like, okay. Anywho. So, we have hey, Pumpkin. Wait a minute, let me get your keys.
Baby,
what's the word?
Demetrius.
Ah, okay. That got you the key. Oh. All right, Chur'ren, I'm back. Mm-hmm. Hold on. Whew. Child, I get so dehydrated, I don't understand it. But here's the tea. we've got to come to some kind of happy medium. We've got to have more discussion, and we've got to put some things in place, because it's more than just having discussion. We got to now start to apply some things so that things can move forward in the future. Now, I know it's going to be a while before we get schools and stuff like that, and we can have all LGBT schools or whatever, because, you know, number one, that's controversy in itself. We have a school down here where it's a high school that's having problems getting off the ground. They can't hardly get funded or whatever, because they're celebrating where all the teachers are LGBT or at least friendly. The students, you know, are LGBT and carrying on, and the curriculum is a full curriculum. But it's trying to get it up off the ground, find a brick and mortar, you know, so they can have a building and can house the children and this, that, and the other, textbooks and all that kind of stuff. It becomes a little bit that way. So, but we've got to do something to where we can apply all of this and make sure that it becomes a plausible thing and not just, you know, in words and just talk. Now, here's another thing about the trans community that's going on that has gotten to me, and I'm trying to, and with this one, I understand this one. I understand it because I think I agree with this. What is it? It is Zeta Phi Beta sorority. I just read, this came across my, just before I came on the air. Zeta Phi Beta has decided that they are going to put a ban on trans women interests. Copy that. They're going to put a ban on trans entries or trans inductees or people who show interest in wanting to join the sorority. Now, I'm going to say that I'm going to agree with that one. And the reason I'm going to agree with that one is because, hey, there are certain things where folks have got to be exclusive. That is a women's organization. Now, yes, you are a trans woman, but these are I can't stand the term cisgender. I don't like cisgender. But these are biological women, and biological women, you know, they have certain ideas and certain things that they just go through, okay? That they want to talk amongst themselves. They don't want to have to open that up to now have to dissect, digest, understand the whole plight of a trans woman. That's too much. That there is entirely too much. And so they said that they're not going to accept trans women to the organization. I happen to agree with that, because in this particular case, I feel if you're trying to go into sororities and carry on, create your own. Create your own sisterhood. Being trans is already a sisterhood and a brotherhood of its own anyway. Create your own fraternity and sorority for it. That I think that there will solve a lot of that headache, and it'll be plausible. What is the criteria to become part of we got the Divine Nine, right? What is it? What would it take to create a sorority of trans women and carrying on, and you create your own? See, remember back in 2009, 2010 or whatever, there were two things that went on simultaneously. The first one was, remember when Morehouse had banned their trans women from wearing makeup and stuff on the campus? I had agreed with that. And folks got upset with me. I said, no, bitch, because you can't be no woman on the damn campus at a boys' school. You're not going to sit down there and say that you live in your life as a woman, but you're going to an all-male academy. That just does not make sense, honey. That destroys the image of what an all-boys school is. Take your ass over to Spelman then, or go to Clark Atlanta if this is what you feel you have to do. It's right there, that's the same campus. Transfer schools, hell, they're about the same tuition anyway. Transfer schools and live your life, bitch. You don't know. Why are you going to sit down there and put an upset on the school like that? That there was too much, and that's what I'm talking about when we try to do shit to prove a fucking point. See? Okay? That wasn't necessary. So I understood why they did that. Now, I didn't like how they were trying to be very forceful. They were a little bit that way. And in the way how they did that, you could hear their disgust in it because they were doing it, you know, and basically banning it. You know, the way how they banned it was kind of distasteful to me. But I knew where they were coming from and I agreed where they were coming from. The other thing that got on my motherfucking nerve was when the gay children were sitting up there. You are a boy. You identify as a boy. You don't even identify as trans. You say, I'm a gay man. And you wanted to join, a.k.a. a sorority. Well, that bitch, you a boy. Okay, you a gay boy. And they appreciate that you like what they stand for. And they appreciate you digging it. But you can't join. So what did these bitches do? They stole all their shit, their colors and everything, and then wanted to sit down there and call themselves Miyaka or some kind of shit. They were the men, I think, M-I-A-K-A. So men identified as AKAs or whatever it was supposed to stand for at the time. When I heard that shit, baby, I blew all kinds of blood gaskets because I was like, bitches, see, this is why they don't like us. This is why they keep saying that there's an LGBT agenda, because y'all asses sat up here. Why would you steal their colors and why would you steal their shit like that? And why? That was unheard of. That was ridiculous. Create your own shit. Create it. You done went through all that to try to usurp theirs. And you created it based on what they were doing. So why would you just take the next step and get your own letters? So the question becomes now, the Divine Nine. Now see, this is what I have to research. So those of you out there who are in fraternities and sororities, y'all let me know something. Good morning, darling. Hold on, let me grab my keys. Lord have mercy, Jesus. All right, babies, I'm back. Get these keys together because the key is coming up in here. But my whole thing is, why are we not looking into building our own shit so that the children can leave us the fuck alone? Why is it that we feel as though we have to, in order to prove a point, have to stand up and try to tell these children what to do with their shit? This is them with their shit. And you gonna steal it. And then I have folks trying to sit up here and tell me that they understood why. Well, you know, there's a ban on it, and fraternities and stuff don't like gay folks in there anyway. And I'm like, okay, well, create your own. And I keep saying this is my point, I need to understand the Divine Nine and how, if someone were to create a fraternity or sorority, and it's legitimate, how it can become part of the divine whatever and be recognized, okay, in that particular manner. Because, you know, all we know are, you know, the AKAs, the Alphas, the Kappas, the Deltas, the Sigmas, you know, the Omega Psi Phis and all that, you know, and things of that nature as far as blacks and fraternities and sororities and stuff are concerned. So why can we not, you know, be on that same playing field? I go back to, remember Revenge of the Nerds and Carrying On, and they had all these different organizations and stuff, and, you know, in the movie they had all these different fraternities and things, and so the nerds created their own damn fraternity because they were the outcasts and nobody wanted to deal with them, so they created one. And then they got to competing and everything with all the other ones, and then come to find out they were a force to be reckoned with, right? Well, here's the same thing here. Okay, revenge of the gays, revenge of the trans, revenge of whatever. Okay, so that we can sit down there and create our own instead of asking these folks to let you in something they don't want you in. They don't want you there. Okay, they don't want you there. I never pledged any kind of fraternity and everything because when I started school, I thought about it because I was looking at the educational component of them, right? And I'm like, okay, and I thought that my regimen and stuff fit more of a Kappa. Okay, I'm like, oh well, this is okay because I was theater and psychology and stuff. I said, oh okay, well, looking at their educational components and stuff, this here is what I'm about and blah blah blah. Went to my first party, the little party, honey, with the student union building. Went to my first party, and there were children there from Omega Psi Phi, the purple and gold, and royal purple is one of my favorite colors. Royal purple and sage green, but I could work with the gold. That was one of my favorite colors, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm out on the dance floor, and I'm living. Y'all know I'm sitting here doing my thing, and I just happened to turn around, and I saw them air rifling me and air shooting me and that kind of thing, and all their disgust and this, that, and the other. And then, of course, after seeing School Days, I said, no, I'm not going to go through all this damn the pledging and stuff and embarrassing myself and going through all these little quote-unquote rituals and shit for y'all to use me as y'all damn mascot and then tell me I can't cross over during the burning sands or whatever they call it. You know what I'm saying? And I felt it was a waste of time. And then, of course, in dealing with all of that, and you had to pay your dues and this, that, and the other, I just don't understand it. I tried to get someone, because every year they have the Greek, what is it, the Greek convention or whatever. All the Greeks get together they come down here to Atlanta. I was on the train, this is a couple years ago, and I was on the train and it was over, and I wanted to ask the dude, I said, what has changed over the years that keep you coming back? And, it was too early in the morning. He didn't want to answer my questions or whatever. But I'm like, no, what has you coming back? Because, as you get older, you still paying dues or whatever. What is it that y'all do? And how is it that y'all mentor the younger kids coming into this thing? Because it's all young. See, fraternities are done. Everybody into the stepping, they into this, they into that. And then it's very hypersexual, and carrying on. And then, of course, the Qs, they known for being, womanizers and carrying on. And in fact, that's the creed of the damn thing. Skeet, 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 skeet. Every time I hear that, it's like, what the fuck is all this? So it's all hypersexual and things. When they get together, they this and that, So I'm like, okay, so what is the benefit of it? Outside of saying, okay, I'm with my frat brothers and carrying on, and outside of the party, what is it outside of the party? I know what the frats and the sororities say they stand for. I know, you have your community service days and this, that, and the other. But outside of that, and those things are playing. Oh, we go do this as our community service, and so y'all have the day where y'all do that and going out there as that, and then afterwards it is back to the damn debauchery of it all. So what's the benefit of it for me, outside of, okay, I'm trying to get a job or whatever, and I'm a AKA or whatever the case may be, and you the hiring person or whatever, so you gonna help your frat brother out and sliding me in and this, that. Those kind of perks, that's cute. But what else is it? And like I said, the dude, he wasn't ready to talk or whatever. He wasn't with me in the morning and all of that. So I said, well, you know what, I ain't got to be either. And so now that goes back to the point of, I think that Zeta Phi Beta has a point. If they say that you have to be cisgender, I hate that term. You have to be a biological woman in order to become a part of the organization, then let it be. It's just like Miss America. A Miss America pageant, honey, this is for biological women. Now, they had I think they had that one time, a trans woman come up in there, and it was on a local platform, I believe, and the trans girl won. And it was a whole big to-do because nobody knew she was trans, and then it came out and carried on. So they had to say, no, this pageant is for biological women. What's one of the requirements? Okay. I don't necessarily see a problem with that. I don't see it as discrimination. I don't see that as a hindrance. Okay? Some things ought to be exclusive. Some things ought to be sacred, and things of that nature. And if you don't like that, the fact that they want to be sacred and be all biological women, then create an all trans women organization so that y'all can sit down there and go through it. Don't nobody want to sit down. They may not want to sit down and understand your plight, honey. They may not want to do that. They may not want to hear about how you got to take your permanent shots and carrying on and all of your hormones and this, that, and the other. They don't want to hear that. They may not want to understand how I'm sitting up here and you still got a tuck because you preoperative. Okay? And they want to hear about how you are a trans woman and that you still topping. You're a trans woman who tops your dates or your husband or whatever the case. They don't understand that. Okay, because in their mind, that's just being gay. You just wearing makeup and hair, and you just being gay, and they don't get that. It's that cut and dry. And I don't mean to sound like I'm disrespecting anyone, but it becomes that cut and dry. And maybe they don't want to deal with that. They don't want to try to wrap their head around it, and it's okay. So if they don't want to do that, then sweeties, we got to sit down there and find a way to make it happen for us. You know what I'm saying? We have to find a way to make it happen for us. Once we do all that, honey, the sky is the limit. The sky is the limit. So yeah, let me go and acknowledge everybody because I said I was going to make this one short. Travis was in here, Leo was in here, Kenya was here, she had to go, Daryl is in here, my cousin Ali, hey baby, what's going on?
Base 1027,
Wait a minute.
check the main lobby. There's some terrorists front drive. All security cleared this time.
I copy that. Terrorists. Okay. All right, darling. So there we have it, children. That's where I am with all of this, okay? That's where I am. This is, okay, right. You say, okay, you better hit those mouth-to-wash notes. Okay. Cuz you silly. Darn is up in here. What's going on, baby? Leo, you lost some weight. I said, you think so, darling? I need to. I got to take off 60. I got to take off 60. So, yeah, I got to get that together. Rod is up here. Hey, baby, that's too cute. Okay. Leo, you say, well, child, that's going to be interesting. I cannot wait to see his old school tale. Okay, DeWitt was up in here. Okay, Madeline came up in here. Lee, hey love, how are you? I ain't seen you in a minute. When you coming back to Atlanta? Terrell is up in here. Hello, how are you, darling? Ricky Green is up in here. Anthony is up in here. Haji came up in here. Tracy is up in here. Hey, Trace. Savannah, what's going on with you, baby? Okay, that's cute. Okay, John has come up in here. Ryan, Chemo. Hey, thanks for coming up in here, y'all, and joining with me and talking with me for just a little minute, okay? Be sure to put your comments down there so I can sit down there and see what y'all have to say about all of this, because perhaps, and see, y'all get quiet on stuff that y'all either strongly disagree with or don't know how to come out of the bag on it, you know? And it's okay. Which is why I promote these kinds of discussions. Because we have to have them, darlings, so that we can then get the conversation going so that we can educate ourselves on how to maneuver. And you don't have to agree. You just have to be willing to educate yourself on the masses. You know what I'm saying? And be heard. Because if you disagree intelligently, you know, and articulately express why. So, you know, you may have a point that needs to be considered, you know, and carry it on. So that's why these discussions are very much so necessary. We have to get it out there, people, so that we can make sure that we are knowing what we're doing. Jay has come up in here. Hey, Jay. So that's why I'm adamant about having these kinds of discussions, okay? And then also, it is to remove all of the stupid ass ignorant shit out there. Because I'm gonna tell y'all, and I'm talking to those of you who are in the dark ages, those of you who want to sit down here and have some old hateful ass shit to say, but you don't want to take the time to educate yourself about it. You don't want to take the time because you just disagree with it. And that's fine to disagree with it, but at least have an open mind about it so you can understand why it exists. You know. But for all of you archaic, baboonish motherfuckers out there, these Neanderthals who refuse to want to do anything about it, see, y'all are part of the problem. And the reason why you're part of the problem is because you're the ones going out there spreading all this hateful ass venom about what this could be, should be, ain't supposed to be, and this, that, and the other. And instead of embracing this, saying, okay, it's a part of life. I don't like it. I don't disagree. I don't agree with it. But let me see how I can coexist with it. Okay? But no, we get stuck into, okay, I don't like it. I ain't going to fuck with it kind of thing. And you never gave it a chance. You never understood how it can better your life or whatever, if it can. You never done. We never take the time to do that. So it's unfair when you sit down there and want to hold the cards and then want to tell somebody else what they need to do to live their lives. That's unfair. That is unfair. And that is unfair. Oh, dear mercy. On another note, I'm graduating. Yes. When I leave work this morning, honey, I get off in about a couple of hours because it's 5 o'clock now. I get off at 7. I'm going home doing the Batgirl change, child. I got to go to school. Today is my last day of school. This is a long journey. I hope I don't get emotional. I'm probably going to save all that until graduation because I graduate this July with my very first bachelor's in media productions. So I'm very ecstatic. Go to my wall, go on my page, and y'all going to see that I've posted my short film. It was a class project. It was our final. I'm the director, and you know we have folks who are editing and this and that. Everybody had to have a job, but my cinematographer and director of photography, he ended up putting on a couple of hats because he did the lights. He was my camera guy. You know, we set up the shots and carrying on, and so he put on a couple of hats for me. But nonetheless, we have a strong product that I'm very happy for. And so I want you guys to go to my wall and look at it. It's called The List, and look at it and tell me what you think. Okay, and yeah, I'm going to put up a song too. Because in my other class, we had to do an EP, and I got a couple of songs that I've done. One of which I'm on with vocals. The other one I just wrote and carrying on. So we're going to be posting that kind of stuff soon, okay? And I'm going to put up on the website. Again, go to my website, dishingtea.com, for more information about everything about me. And yeah, that is that. So, what's your thoughts about everything that I've said today? What are your thoughts? You know, give me your thoughts and opinions and things. Yeah, I closed my eyes for half a second because I'm thinking and I'm thinking again, and if I keep my eyes closed a little too long, I'm going to go to sleep, honey. And y'all gonna be reading me to bitch, you sleepy. Yeah, a little bit. But there is that. Tell you, I'm dry as fuck. But there's where we are. So I'm going to close this out because I'm seeing that for this particular topic, I wanted to get those out there. I wanted to address this thing. We've got to police ourselves. LGBT children, here's what I need for us to do. On a real serious tip, I need for us to learn we got to galvanize, and we've got to learn how to protect ourselves. How the Black Panthers did it, and when they got up there and got military and carrying on and went to boot camp and all that. We need to do the same fucking thing. I'm going to say that out loud. I'm going to advocate for it. I'm going to sit down there and do that. I remember back in the 80s when they had the guardian angels, and the guardian angels became this, like, you know, they were this vigilante type police cadets, because they didn't have any power to do anything by the police or anything. They were just policing their neighborhood, and wherever they saw the crime money, they got to fighting and beating up the children and carrying on, and they held them down until the police got there. We need to do the same fucking thing. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We need to police ourselves. We need to make sure we protect ourselves. And I'm not talking about just weapons and carrying on. We need to know that we know how to protect ourselves. All across the board. We need to know better everything. Okay. So that's what this thing is, honey. Shit. Oh, see there, I just did it. I just did it. 9 and off. Okay. Thank you, baby. I just did it. Yeah, y'all gonna read me, but I don't give a fuck. I told you I was gonna happen if I kept my eyes closed one time too many, because, you know, my body clock is off and this, that, and the other. But I need for us to do that. Let's talk about that. As a matter of fact, that's going to be one of the things, like when I come back, we're going to talk about learning how to protect ourselves. What does that mean? How do we go about instituting that? Do we need something like that? You know, do we need the Pink Panthers or something? You know, or the Rainbow Cougars, or you know what I'm saying? Do we need that in our community? And then now here's the big thing: who benefits from it? Okay, how do we get that program up and launched and this and that? And see, it becomes that, and that's okay though, because see, we need to be on top of it. We need to be on top of it. We need to be on top of it, so we can stop all this shit from happening. Because they're killing us out here on these streets. Every time I see one of my sisters get gunned down or whatever, it destroys me. Just at the beginning of the month, there was another trans girl. I think she was out of D.C. who was killed, shot in the head. Okay, ridiculous. Ridiculous. And it's crazy, and we don't have enough time. And I want to sit down here and let's just marinate on that for a minute. Marinate on that. And just say prayers. Say prayers, and then after you pray it, then start giving thanks for it. And let's walk in it like it's already answered. Let's walk in it so that we can sit down here and manifest what we need in order for us to be a better people. So we can stop living in the lies and the shortcomings of what this means. We have to. It's just sad. It's sad. So on that note, darling, I'm going to let y'all go. I got to finish my paperwork and shit. If you love me, tell a friend, honey. If you hate me, tell an enemy. But do know there's one way, shape, style, form, of fashion. Everything that I'm doing will move forward. Okay? So on that note, babies, yeah, let me finish up. And we will talk again soon, honey. I'll talk with you later. Ciao.